started. I'd like to call to order. Oh, wait, I will wait a second. Come on in. No worries. All right, welcome. I'd like to call to order the May 26, 2026 regular school board meeting of the Columbia Heights Public Schools. If you're able, please stand and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Awesome, thank you. Laura, if you could call roll, please.
Who is it? Okay. Wool.
Here.
Bodnas Bondas. Here. Adiras.
Here.
Palmer. Here. Petway.
Here.
Granlund.
Here.
Payne of Les.
Here.
And Superintendent Stenbeck. Here. Thank you.
Wonderful, thank you. Columbia Heights Public Schools, our mission statement, creating worlds of opportunity for each and every learner, all belong, all succeed. Our core values are community, excellence, collaboration, integrity, respect, courage, and innovation. First up, we have the approval of the agenda and announcements. Can I get a motion to approve the agenda?
So moved.
Laura, can I get a second?
Second.
Second by Jessica. Discussion. All right, no discussion. We'll move into vote. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. All right, announcements. May 30th, from 1 to 8, there's a district powwow here at Columbia Heights High School. June 10th is the last day of school and graduation. June 16th at 4:45, we have our subcommittee on policy superintendent. Nope, yes, it is correct, yes. 4:45, superintendent, or subcommittee on policy in the superintendent's conference room. 5 p.m. on June 16th, this is subcommittee on community engagement and legislative action committee, and that's in the community room here. June 16th at 6 p.m., we have the school board meeting in the community room. June 23rd at 5:30, we have the school board work session here again in the community room. And on June 30th at 6 p.m., we have our regular school board meeting, again here in the community room. Communication to the board. Next up, at this time, any citizen or employee may briefly address the school board. The board will listen to the brief remarks, ask clarifying questions, and if desired, request that the administration follow up. The board will not take action at the meeting on requests presented at this time. Time will be limited to 3 minutes per speaker. And there is no one here. All right, moving on. To the consent agenda. Our consent agenda includes the personnel report, minutes from the 5:12 meeting and the 5:19 work session, and policy, a lot of policies. 5:17 student recruiting, 5:33 wellness, 6:05 alternative educational services, 6:11 homeschooling, 4:14 mandated reporting of child neglect, 5:01 school weapons, 5:03 student attendance, 5:16 student medication and telehealth, 5:16.5 overdose medication, and 5:30 immunization requirements. Can I get a motion to approve the consent agenda as presented?
So moved.
Thank you, Julie. Can I get a second?
Second.
Second by Jenna. Discussion. All right. As there is no discussion, we'll move into a vote. All those in favor of accepting the consent agenda as presented, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Wonderful. Next up, we have discussion reports and information items, and we will start with reports from members of the board. And we will start with Jessica.
Okay, great. Lots of continuing activity as we are finishing up the school year, and I've been really excited to have had the opportunity to chaperone a whole bunch of field trips here at the end of the year across a few different grade levels. And so since our last meeting, I was able to chaperone the 5th grade all-district field trip to Medtronic, and I believe there was a photo and some information about that in the packet. It blew me away. It was so organized. They had at least 100 employees that were like there on site leading the kids through activities. They got to learn about and touch pig hearts in a dissection lab. They got to play with microscopes and look at lots of different things under the microscopes. They got to learn about robotics. They were able to see and kind of experience what it's like to do virtual surgery. They learned about health and heart rate and 3D printing, and I'm forgetting a whole slew of things that they had the opportunity to do. So that was really an amazing field trip for the kids and a great partnership with Medtronic. So thank you to them for putting that on for our kids. I was also able to attend the 8th grade parent night at the high school and hear from Principal Wynn about plans for orientation and transition to high school next year. And then I was also able to chaperone the 8th grade AVID trip to visit the University of Minnesota Twin Cities, where we had 2 guides from Ramp Up to Readiness at the university give students a tour of campus and talk to them a lot about what college is like and ask them a lot of reflection questions and have a lot of interaction with them. As I know the AVID kids have been talking a lot about college choices and researching different majors and everything this year. So that was really great, although it was a cold day to be walking around campus. Should have waited a week, perhaps. I was able to attend both nights of expressions over at Silverwood, and I know many of you were there as well. Our students have absolutely amazing art that was on display there, and really fantastic performances, voice performances, band performances. My personal favorite, the marimba band at Columbia Academy. They're incredible. So I was happy to be able to be there. I, like all of you, attended the work session last week. And then earlier today, I was able to attend a volunteer appreciation event that the staff at Highland put on, which was really lovely to see a lot of the volunteers from our community who help out in classrooms, but also a lot of the volunteers that were helping our families during Operation Metro Surge and giving rides and delivering food and doing all of that important work. So I was happy to be there as well. And that concludes my report.
Wonderful, thank you. Laura?
Oh, my report is nowhere near as extensive as that. Boy, it sounds like you had a lot of really great things happening, and
everywhere.
And it's so great that you're here to share that with us. All I really have to report is that I attended the work session, and I did get over to the expressions this year, which is always a great time. And you are so right; they are so talented. You know, you really can't say enough. If you ever have the opportunity to go to the expressions over at Silverwood, our students are just absolutely amazing. I had people like pulling up and going, "What's going on here?" And I'm going, "Wait till you see this. It's like all the kids, and come on in and join us." You know, they didn't even have students there, which I thought was really kind of cool. So yeah, it stopped me on the way in. But that's pretty much my report for the day.
Wonderful, thank you. We'll go to Jenna.
Okay, so I was able to finish up school tours with Superintendent Stenvik. So I got to see all of our buildings and meet many staff members and see classes in action and learn more about our programming. I also attended Expressions, as both of you did, and could see the strength of our music department as we had multiple conductors showcasing songs that the kids have learned. And I attended World Culture Day at Highland Elementary School, where they celebrated various cultures. Kids made flags and had a little parade where they walked around the building and then met in the gym and sang songs together. And it was a very beautiful celebration. People were so happy, the kids were so excited, so that was really lovely to see. And then finally, along with Jessica, I attended the volunteer appreciation event at Highland, where volunteers who were helping with ride sharing and food distribution were acknowledged. Thank you.
Thank you. Julie?
Yeah, mine is also kind of short. I attended the meeting last week, our our work session. And I did have a brief person-to-person meeting with Dave Oswald, the mayor of Fridley. I will be giving an update next week. But he was concerned with some of the things he's heard about Fridley. He was asking about Columbia Heights. So, South Fridley is part of our school district. So I wanted to let you know that I did have a conversation and how positive we are here over at Columbia Heights. So,
Wonderful, thank you. Michelle?
Yeah, so I have not been around probably since our May 12th meeting, but I did get back from my trip and I attended the Memorial Day celebration at Huset Park that Mayor Amada and the city organized, where Anita, my daughter, sang the national anthem. So that was fun. This is like her third year doing that, so it's always fun getting to see her voice grow every year. But that is all I have. I'm actually sad that I missed a lot of things because I was gone. But I did see some pretty great footage. My husband recorded a 26-minute video at the Expressions performance. So yeah, I look forward to seeing that. I haven't been back that long, so I haven't watched it just yet, but I'm excited.
Well, Anita was front and center in the
Yeah.
marimba band.
Oh,
so
Yep, she was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I look forward to seeing it. Thanks, guys.
Yeah, thank you. For me, I attended the spring concert at the high school last week, which was phenomenal. I attended the school board work session, a chair meeting prior to that, and I made it to One Expressions, which was the one with the high school and CA, and I got to see the marimba band. Even though we don't have kids in the middle school anymore, my husband was like adamant that he wanted to go because the marimba band is his favorite, and he's very upset that he didn't know about it until last year. So he's like, I've missed it all these years. But it was really great to see all the kids sort of continue to grow in their musical expression, and then the art is phenomenal per usual. I'm just constantly blown away by the high caliber of artists that we have in our school district, and I'm grateful to all of the educators who support their learning with that. I also spoke to a lot of families, community members, Superintendent Stenvik, and then prior to this meeting, I attended the chair meeting. And I do believe, if I've forgotten something, I'm sure somebody else will bring it up at some point, and I'll be like, oh yeah, that thing. All right, moving on to the superintendent's report.
Thank you, Chair Granlund, members of the board. I've been attending several end-of-the-year activities, including the annual Beanbag Tournament that was at the high school this year instead of at Columbia Academy, and a new student took over the champion and beat out our, 2 or 3 year in a row student champion. So that was really fun. Highlands World Cultural Event was just really impactful. And of course, the Expressions Art Show at Silverwood, where I like to do a little shopping around for superintendent cards. We are working on, looking ahead to next school year and wrapping up this year, doing some reflection, pulling data together, looking at goals for next year and whatnot. And then also upcoming events. So this weekend, on Saturday, is the powwow. We've got graduation coming up, and then various city events, including the time capsule on the 25th and the Jamboree Parade as well. Thanks.
Thank you. All right, next up, we'll move into student school board representatives report. Christian.
Thank you to everyone. Mine's a bit short. I haven't really been in too many of the events as of late, but one of the most notable events was the City Hall meeting that happened in Columbia Heights. I can't remember the exact day, but saw a lot of awesome people and the accomplishments of the companies in our community, and kind of how everything happened in Operation Metro Surge while I was kind of gone for a minute. And surprisingly,
I myself got nominated as Citizen of the Year, which was not expecting whatsoever, but also saw some stories about past students, Daniel, about how his experiences tried to, kind of make this whole speech about what's important in life, and not really that, but most likely on how the city has some major flaws within its safety, specifically towards bike lanes, and plan to write something, hopefully make a change. Also, I haven't really said this much, but I have also been attending some events, which is surprising to me. So there's been layout happening with the new newspaper that's coming out soon. And actually, I have been notified that our synchro swimming team has indeed gotten a really good score in their state competition. And we plan to celebrate them. And after all this time, I'm pretty sure 8 years where this coach has been with the synchro team, this is actually a really big deal. And so I've been around for that, trying to get all the info about how the students' opinions on the seasons went this year, and really student feedback on a lot of things. And I conclude my report at that.
Wonderful, thank you. All right, next up, we have Director Hennekins with the Long-Term Facilities Maintenance Plan. Welcome, Director Hennekins.
See if we can manage with our current projection system here. Which one do I have first? 916 or ours?
The district.
Nope, that one's second.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay. All right. All right, so each year, the state of Minnesota requires us to approve a long-term facility maintenance plan. And we have both our long-term facility maintenance plan and the next agenda item, the 916 long-term facility maintenance plan, which we have to do as part of 916 as a member. And I'm just going to go through the presentation. It is going to be a snapshot of what it looked like this year, what it looks like next year, and the year after. We kind of look at a 3-year snapshot. So our mission, Columbia Heights Public Schools, creating worlds of opportunity for each and every learner. All belong, all succeed. And our core values of community, excellence, collaboration, integrity, respect, courage, and innovation. So again, this is an informational item tonight, and it'll come back on the June 16th school board meeting as an action item. So there's 2 or 3 main categories of long-term facility maintenance. We have this health and safety category. We have another category associated with health and safety where we can levy for additional dollars based on that category if the cost of the projects exceed a certain dollar amount, like asbestos, indoor air quality, which we're currently doing. Asbestos is going to show up on here because we have that as well. And then the final category where we are deferred maintenance projects. So they're kind of all together. And this has been this way since 2016 when long-term facility maintenance came into play. So the first category of health and safety, kind of your standard yearly expenses that we have. The costs in these areas don't change a whole lot. They move up a little bit as costs do. But we have our physical hazards, so things on the roofs like fall protection, different ladders that we put up with railings on the roofs, so that's those physical hazards. Our other hazardous materials, chemicals that we have throughout the district, whether that be within buildings and grounds or whether they be within the science rooms that we have to dispose of each year. So again, pretty standard every year costs. Our environmental health and safety management, which is our IEA agreement. So they help us with like our health and safety program, the new AWARE program that we have. So they're really they help us manage our health and safety for the district. and they help us perform mock OSHA. They help us monitor asbestos in the district. They help us with our radon testing, so they do a lot for the school district. And then we have our standard asbestos removal. So we try to do a little bit each year within this category. And some years we do more and we exceed that 100,000, which we are doing this year in one of our projects. So then we'll levy additional money to cover that expense. Fire safety, indoor air quality, again, pretty standard. There's one, and then the total health and safety, you can see that we just kind of stay pretty standard in our expenses in this area. Occasionally, when we get to testing, radon testing, lead and water testing, which is a 5-year rotation, you'll see the other hazardous materials spike because that's where that cost goes. But we're within that window right now where we're not going to see that. So those costs staying pretty flat there. So again, here's that other category, the category 2 of health and safety, where if we exceed a certain dollar amount for a project in a single building, so it can't be spread out across the district, it has to be a single building, and it has to exceed that $100,000 mark. We have our indoor air quality projects, which is started pretty much at Valley View Elementary. That was approved last year. And it'll go full swing here soon, but we've already started seeing expenses. The trailer should show up on site this week, so we're very excited about that project getting off the ground. And then you can see the asbestos removal. So with the 2026 high school classroom renovation project, we're abating flooring in over 20 classrooms in the high school on the second floor. More recently, towards the end, the project came in under budget, so we added classrooms so that all of our classrooms on the second floor will have updated flooring, we'll have updated casework, all asbestos will be removed in that flooring. So, we have one level of the building, at least the classrooms, that have been updated to that level. And again, all that asbestos has been removed. So that cost for that project is $147,500. We initially anticipated it would be just under, around $90,000. So we can include that in category 2 as an additional levy, a pay-as-you-go, so for 2027. There's some additional requirements, just like with our indoor air quality, where I have to submit a letter to the state to get it approved. But that's included in this plan. And then this is our deferred maintenance sections. So again, it's a 3-year snapshot, so you can see 2026, 2027, and 2028. You can see the spike in the dollar amounts at the bottom. That's the first thing you'll notice, but that's from the previous slide from our total health and safety project costs from the indoor air quality project. One thing of note in the asbestos removal encapsulation additional, we all know that our per pupil, or not a per pupil, but our enrollment has decreased quite significantly. Most of the categories within our levy are some level of per pupil. So we are going to see our levy go down because our per pupil has gone down unless we add something new to it. So that additional $147,500 from a levy perspective, we're really not going to notice that because we will see a percentage decrease until we approve something different. But I just wanted to note that because that is an approval of an additional $147,500 in levy. So in this category, we don't see a whole lot of change year over year. We see the biggest thing from on this sheet is the mechanical systems. So you can see we had in the first column here, we saw roof systems at $700,000, and that's decreasing to $50,000. And then you see mechanical systems going from $270,000 to $650,000. That's the biggest change in our deferred maintenance. So we finished our roof at Columbia Academy last year. That was the last replacement roof, at least in the short term that we had within our roofing study that we had done. And now we're shifting that all to mechanical. And we have aging mechanical in all of our buildings. And Valley View, North Park has some significant updates to mechanical with that project we did a handful of years ago. No other buildings have had that level of update. So Valley View is, of course, this first in this conversation with indoor air quality, and we will have, and so really our cost to keep things running is gonna keep going up until we replace, because things are just failing. So we're putting all that money into mechanical systems and the other buildings, Columbia Academy, High School, and Highland, to keep those things going. So that's really the biggest change in this category. Other than that, interior surfaces is where we see the dollars for the deferred maintenance part of Valley View Elementary. So again, we bonded to do the bathrooms and do the casework in the classrooms at the elementary. And so that's where that interior surfaces category is where those bonded dollars are being expensed. So as we see expenses from the project for those deferred maintenance, they're going into that category of interior surfaces. So that's a 6-year payback for those bonded dollars. So again, summer 2026 main projects, I already mentioned Valley View indoor air quality, district-wide mechanical work ramping up, and then that high school last classroom renovation project, which has that asbestos component of it. So those are the main projects for this summer. Not that we're not doing other things, but those are the main ones. And then for 2027, of course, we all know the Valley View project's a 2-year project. And so second year is going to be fast and furious, trying to get that done before the start of school. We're going to continue with the mechanical district-wide, because that's just a long-term thing until we get caught up on that within the district. We're going to continue to look at casework and flooring, really the asbestos abatement on flooring, which is going to bring in the casework as well. So we'll continue to look at that throughout the district, trying to eliminate that, because mostly where we see asbestos flooring is underneath old carpet. So as we want to address that old carpet, we need to abate that flooring, and we'll do the casework at the same time. It won't be in the same level as the high school because we just don't have that many classrooms left. And then we have some doorways exterior to all of our buildings. Each building has at least one, which are still old or original windows. Some of them may have been replaced in the 90s, but only partially replaced. Like the doors were replaced, but the frames weren't, interestingly enough. And the frames are rotting out. So there are some things that we're going to have to look at that are on a little bit bigger scale. High school has got some bigger ones because it's the stairwell windows from the top floor all the way down to the doors. It's all one piece. And they're still single pane old, some of them, and some of them were, again, partially replaced in 98. The frames were kept, but they slipped new doors in, and it's just creating problems for us. So there's some things that we're going to have to do to address that in a little bit larger scale in that FY 27 or summer of 27. So those are what we're looking at for the bigger projects, at least in the near future here. Questions?
All right, does anybody have any questions?
I do have one.
Go ahead, Laura.
So we've been working on this asbestos abatement, obviously for years and years. It seems to me we probably have a very small percentage that we'd even be looking at. So what is your estimate of like a percentage of abatement that we'll still need to do? Because we've got to be just about done with all our projects.
As far as scale goes, it varies by building. I mean, as far as flooring goes, we've done a significant amount. All of our buildings, every chalkboard in the building has asbestos glue behind it. So, if we ever get to a point where we're dealing with that, now we put whiteboards over the top. Mm-hmm. So there's nothing to really deal with. We're just covering it up. Mm-hmm. But there are things across the district. A lot of our old plumbing in the district, which, all of our buildings have. Mm-hmm. The insulation in the joints on that typically has been asbestos. So there still is a fair amount around, but something we'll have to just kind of continue to deal with project by project basis. We wouldn't go into some of these areas like the tunnels and stuff and try to just abate, just to take care of it. We would do it along with replacement of the water pipe. So we'll continue to look at it. Again, that IEA It helps us manage our health and safety. You know, they have a report on all of our buildings. So as projects happen, areas are tested, it's all documented and kept in that report. So as we move forward with the projects, you know, we have that documentation, so we kind of have an idea where we're at by building, and those reports are kept in the buildings. So, but I can't say an exact number. There's just a lot of things. They'd like to use it in everything back in the day. And so, but as far as front facing in our classrooms, we've really, with this project here, you know, we're taking care of almost all of our classroom space, again, with the exception of behind the chalkboards.
Okay, so, yeah, so for the most part, for the way I understand, as long as you don't mess with the area, it's fine. You know?
Yeah,
You know,
yeah.
so as we're doing these other projects, then, but it seems to me that the majority of them, if the project's already gonna include that, then it's already including it, where it's not like just ripping out floors in 20 classrooms and getting rid of the asbestos, so it seems to me we're probably down to like, really down to like just here and there's now.
We are.
I mean, it would be really nice to say, we're asbestos free, yay! You know, but on the other hand, I'm not looking forward to we're not gonna go in and start messing with all that, you know, plumbing and everything until we have to.
No, right. But we are.
Yeah.
We've significantly taken care of a lot, for sure. And we'll continue to take care of it as we need to. But like our flooring, there's a really low volume of it. It's encapsulated in it. I mean, it's safe being there.
Yeah.
But once you disturb it,
Yeah.
then that's when risks come into play. And so if we're gonna disturb it, we remove it.
Okay, perfect.
Sounds good. Julie?
Hi. So could you explain a little bit to me on, or maybe just to the board, on, you mentioned levying for this? Is that when I hear levy, I think taxes.
It is.
So are we increasing our taxes for long-term facility maintenance? Does it have to go to the voter, or is it because it's health and safety, it does not go to the voter?
It's just like the indoor air quality. That's why I specifically mentioned it, because I wanted to make sure that I was saying it, and probably what caused the question. Because that's true. It is additional. And the reason I wanted to mention enrollment specifically, because again, our per pupil is gone down. It's gone down almost 200 students since last year. So, you know, from a levy perspective, when everything's per pupil, that means that our local operating levy is going to go down because it's per pupil. And so really, from the tax base of the community, they're not going to see it. It's going to be there though, but because our levy is going to go down because of our per pupil has gone down so much. But it is there. That's why I mentioned it specifically. It's in that category. It is additional levy, just like the IEQ project is, you know, and we had that. I have it split over 3 years now. Originally, we just split it over 2 because we didn't know exactly when that cut date was going to be, but now we know it's spread over 3 as far as when we're recognizing the expenses. But now in that 27, that it's a pay-as-you-go basically, so we spend the money, and then afterwards we can recoup those dollars, and it's through additional levy for the $147,500.
One more question.
Go ahead.
So the health and safety category 2
Yes.
slide,
Yep. I'm gonna bring it
the
back up here.
asbestos in 27 shows on my slide 125.
Yes.
And you had 147.
Yes. So this is partially why I don't bring a completed plan. There's 2 reasons why. One, the state hasn't even released the new form yet to be able to approve the new plan. So you'll see the full grid, the full PDF and that. And when I made the presentation and uploaded it last week, the estimate from the contractor was $125,000 in their bid proposal. But then with the management of IAQ, so as part of this process, I have to get a letter from IEA and to submit to Sarah Miller, and IEA includes their monitoring costs within there. So that's the difference. So that's why it's now $147,500.
Can I
So yes, thank you for pointing that out.
briefly, you've been throwing around some acronyms. Could you possibly explain what IEA?
IEA is a company that manages, so I forget what their acronym is.
That's okay.
exactly, But it's a company that manages our health and safety for us, programming, I should say, as a whole. So our health and safety committee, asbestos monitoring, so they complete our asbestos report. We have this AWARE program now that we have to manage that the state, or OSHA, state level implemented. So there's some additional reporting with that. So they help us report and make sure our records are up to date, make sure we're monitoring the things. They do our OSHA mock inspections. They're the ones that monitor our chemicals, so they come out and audit our science labs and our auto shop. So they do all of those things.
Perfect.
For
Thank
us.
you. Yep, go ahead, Julie.
I have a question on that.
Yes.
So this is a contractor, a subcontractor that we use. Are we going out for bids on that every once in a while? Because
We've been using them for 5 or 6 years. I think our total cost with them is about $80,000.
Okay.
So it's far under any amount that we would really need to. We were with a different company previously, and I can't remember the year, but I did get some quotes from a couple different companies, and we switched at that point in time. So, we monitoring our costs, and as they go up with most things, then we start thinking about looking at options. But, you get partnered with a person that knows your district and has the history, at least in the short term, 6-7 years now that we've been working with them. It's very meaningful to have that close partner. And again, it's right now our current agreement with them is around $80,000. So it's
a lot less than I thought it
Yeah.
would be, that's all.
they do a lot for that. Yes.
Wonderful. Good, great questions. Any other questions? Go ahead, Jessica.
Just one question. Thank you for the presentation. I'm just wondering if you could help kind of provide a sense of scale for how these deferred maintenance amounts sort of fit into the overall deferred maintenance that exists for us as a district, because I think when people look at these numbers, they can look like really high numbers when we're a small district with 5 buildings, but the cost of maintaining those buildings is high. The cost of a health and safety program, that costs money. So could you help us kind of understand the scale of how this fits into that overall deferred maintenance picture?
Sure. Handful of years, I think it was 3 years ago, 4 years ago now, Carl Anderson, we worked with them to update kind of our deferred maintenance planning as district-wide. And they identified what's critical, hey, you got to look at this in the next 3 to 5 years. Critical meaning, hey, you got to do this now. Next 3 to 5 years, or here's the next 5 to 10 years and out. And within our district at that point in time, we had over $60 million in deferred maintenance costs, and we know that things are have gone up a lot in the last few years. So it's significantly more now. And with our indoor air quality project at Valley View, knowing that that indoor air quality component alone is $14 million in one building, and we have 5 of them. And we've only had one building, like I said earlier, North Park, that has had some significant improvements in the last 30 years, so or 26 years to 30 years. But so the need is very high. So when we look at $1 million compared to 4 years ago, $60 million plus dollars, it's not a lot. And I think I've mentioned this before, but larger school districts have always been able to levy for deferred maintenance to the community at the amount that they need. Of course, it is a tax increase, as we point out, but they're doing $18 million, $20 million, $25 million a year, and they're able to do deferred maintenance projects on an entire building every year, just with their deferred maintenance dollars. They're receiving, $600, $700, $800 per pupil in deferred maintenance projects, where LTFM we're receiving $300 and some dollars. So it's the haves and the have-nots, again, with their ability to manage their deferred maintenance and support their buildings and maintain their buildings versus what smaller districts like us are able to do. And again, I think I've mentioned this before, I'm very happy in 2016 that we had long-term facility maintenance come into legislation, because we had nothing besides capital dollars prior to that, which, it's not even $1 million. So it's great that we have this, but there's still a great disparity in between what larger districts can do and what we can do.
Thank
Great
you.
question.
I know that you've discussed this before, but I do think that's a really important context for folks to understand when we're looking at these projects, and sort of, that overall universe of deferred maintenance, and sort of how we have not had the means to really catch up on critical health and safety pieces over time. So thank you for that.
Yep.
Great questions. Any other questions? All right. We'll move on to Northeast Metro 916 Long-Term Facility Maintenance Plan, again with Director Hennekens.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. All right. Chair Granlund, members of the board, and Superintendent Stenbeck. This next agenda item, Northeast Metro 916 Long-Term Facility Maintenance Plan. And I'll explain a little bit more in a minute. Our mission, Columbia Heights Public Schools, creating worlds of opportunity for each and every learner. All belong, all succeed. And our core values of community excellence, collaboration, integrity, respect, courage, and innovation. Again, this is an informational presentation this evening, no governance, but it'll be brought to the June 16th school board meeting for action. So just like our long-term facility maintenance plan, I've split it into 3 columns: the current year, the FY27, and then the FY28 dollars amounts, as far as, and then by category. And let me explain a little bit with 916. Again, we are a member of 916. 916 as an intermediate doesn't have the authority to levy, but they add buildings, and within those buildings, we include on our levy to the community costs, based on our membership. And at the end of the slide, it'll say what our percentage of that is. As a member district, we do have a board member that sits on their board that sees and approves their plans. And then also I'm heavily involved in monthly meetings with business directors that all belong to 916. So we meet over there. And so these are things that come up in discussion there as well. So there's a couple touch points in this conversation here from myself, and then of course Laura is our 916 board member. So again, health and safety category, just like ours, you see pretty standard costs. We don't see a lot of variance. The only variances that we would see are in that other hazardous materials, typically because of like radon testing or lead and water testing. So some specific spikes, that happen every 5 years. But other than that, it's pretty flat with their health and safety. They don't have any category 2, but then within their deferred maintenance area, they have newer buildings over there. We know that. But as like anything, we have to maintain them. So they in 27 have a project and building envelope, it looks like. And then they have some mechanical system in 27. But again, you can see that they're keeping their total costs within their 10-year plan pretty flat. So they're just shifting areas where they're doing their projects. So we're going to do so that we can maintain kind of a flatter. They've been underspending their levy a little bit, so they've been building their fund up a little bit. So it's not costing us an additional dollars for this. And again, like I said, there's an allocation percentage of their total levy that we have. So for 27, it was 3.6. For 28, it's 3.6. So the dollar amount allocation doesn't change a whole lot. So this is the dollar amount. So that's their whole LTFM plan. Obviously, they have a lot less. Again, our levy to the district includes these dollar amounts.
All right, thank you very much. Any questions on this presentation? Go ahead, Laura.
I don't really have a question.
Or comments.
because, You know, that one thing to point out is that most of the buildings and programs, and even with 916, are all relatively new. So thankfully, that means that we don't have as much deferred maintenance or even as much investment there. So 21,000 to be able to access some of these great programs is, I think, pretty good. I wish our buildings were newer so we didn't have these bigger spikes, but on the other hand, you're doing a great job on keeping these all updated and having a really good plan going forward. So it's great to be able to know what's coming down the pipeline, and I appreciate that.
Thanks.
Any other questions or comments? All right, thank
Thank
you
you.
very much. Next up, we have policy first reading. So at our last subcommittee meeting, we reviewed the 506 student discipline and 508 extended school year for certain students with individual education plans or IEPs. These policies are available for staff and community input at the district webpage and are brought before the board for a second reading approval at our future board meeting. Like I said, that was 506 student discipline. That's a yearly review. And 508 extended school year for certain students with individual education plans is on a 3-year cycle. All right. Moving on to our spring activity update with Director Henderson, who is joining us remotely because he is off-site at an activities function. So whenever he's able to join us, we'll move on to that one, his presentation.
Can you see me? Can you hear me?
We can hear you, we cannot see you. Hey, there you are.
Oh, on the screen. I'm trying to share my screen as well. Is that happening right now?
Not yet.
Okay. Some of me. Oh, your screen is sharing it. Is that up there?
Nope.
That's unfortunate.
Yep. So Patrick can do
Tells
it.
me that I'm unable
Hey,
to share it. Okay.
it looks like it's working on it.
Okay.
One thing the last
All
6
right,
years
well,
have taught us
I'll
is that we can be patient with these things.
Yes. I apologize for that. I'm out in the cafeteria at White Bear Lake. We have a volleyball section match going on. So,
No worries.
Chair Granlund, members of the board, Superintendent Stenvet, thank you all for having me this evening. Our mission at Columbia Heights Public Schools is creating worlds of opportunity for each and every learner. All belong and all succeed. Our core values this evening, our informational item of our spring update, will touch on all of our core values here in Columbia Heights. And I'm excited to give you a short spring update here as we've got some great things going on. I believe after this that I'll present on from the Minnesota State High School League as well. Before I begin with our spring update, I just wanted to give you a little bit of an update on our non-host co-ops that I presented on at the last board meeting that I attended. I met with Director Hennekins, I've met with Superintendent Stenvik briefly, and our plan moving forward with our non-host co-ops is to continue our regular participation fees and how we have handled non-host co-ops for this next school year. We will plan to do some research into other metro areas and how they what their fee structure looks like for particularly hockey, but also co-ops that they don't host. And then we will meet and review our current policy. And if we do have an update or think that that policy does need to be updated, we will come to the board, or I will come to the board next school year. I will, in the meantime, and I am currently seeking out a girls hockey co-op for next year for this Minnesota State High School League. Those are at least 2-year agreements, and so that would be our plan moving forward into the 26-27 school year. So just wanted to provide a brief update on our non-host co-ops that I presented on a couple months ago. All right, now let's get to our spring activities update. Pictures are always some of the most fun, so please take a look at some of our team photos up here of our various activities that happened this spring or are still happening at this point. We continue to focus on building community, being as competitive as possible, while also hammering that we want a positive culture and looking out for the wellness of all of our students and student athletes. I like to share, and I think you all appreciate all of our participation numbers from the spring. We're holding pretty steady. I wanted to shout out a couple of sports here. Flag football in particular has jumped, and that has jumped in a lot of different schools throughout the metro and throughout the state of Minnesota. And we did add a high school team this season. Additionally, we ran our co-op in baseball a little bit differently, where we hosted one of the teams, and we sought some feedback from our student athletes as well as our families, and they really appreciated that opportunity. And so we had a jump in high school baseball as well, which was exciting to see. We have a couple sports that, we've got some participation in, and we're getting to a point where we need to take a look at those recruiting, and our coaches are excited for that opportunity coming up here in the season. Wanted to shout out a couple of things from our spring, or exceptionally exciting. We had our sync just finished up past weekend, and this time, again, the entire team attended state, and had said that
Hey, Jake, you're sort of pixelating in and out.
Yes.
We're not able to hear you.
Turn his video.
Could you turn your video off and then just speak? We'll see if maybe that makes it easier for the.
Yeah.
Not that we don't like seeing your face. That's definitely not that. We're hoping maybe it'll improve the audio quality for you.
I'm gonna move
Taking up to
a little bit closer to the door. Hopefully, so that's a little bit better. Maybe even step outside. Anyways, we had a team take fourth in the short division, which was really exciting. We had 5 individuals participate in the state tournament for speech, which I again think is maybe the most that we've ever had, at least since I've been around. And we had Daphne Kleinschmidt take 3rd in drama, which was pretty exceptional. Hopefully we'll have a handful other state participants. We've got a lot of I'm at a section event right now for volleyball, and I just finished up at lacrosse as well. They had a section game a little bit earlier, and we have track and field coming up next week, so that's this tomorrow and Friday, and so that's another opportunity to get some more state participants. This spring we hosted our Jazz and Art Festival from the Tri-Metro Conference again, which was a great event and an opportunity to get our schools together. And then just recently we hosted the Unified Basketball Tournament again in our Highlander Center, and our team and our coaches do a great job shouting out the CA staff putting that on. And we had several artists receive the highest scores from the Minnesota State High School League visual art pieces in this as a Superior Award. So some great things to celebrate, and we're not quite done here in the spring either. And then finally, I think at the bottom there, I have that Intercity Tennis will be partnering with them again. We did receive a grant from the U.S. Tennis Association. And then finally, we have summer activities coming up. So we've got a whole host of opportunities for kids to get involved. Again, we've got that ICT or Intercity Tennis, as well as our own tennis that we'll be running. They won't be at the same times, but excited to offer all of these opportunities for our students. We have a new registration system, so we're working through some of those hurdles, but I'm excited for the opportunity. I think this will be a big upgrade for our families when they go to register, and there is more opportunities as we get into the school year, et cetera, for some better communication tools and calendar, et cetera, options for our families. So with that, I'll thank you for your time. That is the spring update that I have for you.
Wonderful, thank you. Does anybody have any questions or comments?
I have a question.
Go ahead, Julie.
I was wondering if, we have these summer programs coming up. Are we working with the city of Columbia Heights for any of these? I know that one of the concerns we've had in the past is that, keeping students in our school doing these activities is important to have city involvement. Just kind of curious as to how that's going.
Sure. Yeah, so we make it a goal that we're obviously not overlapping with programming that the city rec or most other things, quite honestly, within Columbia Heights School District or the surrounding area could offer. There is a brand new recreation and parks director at Columbia Heights, John Stutzman. I've met with him. I'm excited for some of the opportunities that he's going to bring, and quite honestly, just a new ideas. He has a long experience of recreation and parks, and so he's excited to meet people and get into the community and really understand what they want. As far as working with the city rec, generally what we have done is we usually do 6th through 12 programming roughly, or incoming 6th through 12th grade programming, and offer those. And the recreation department does K or pre-K through 5th grade roughly. Now we have a little bit of overlap there sometimes, but we try not to do overlap programming. So we work with them in terms of getting each other's information and registration information out there. I'm in constant communication with them to get their programming and as many participants in that as well. And they are on the reverse side of that.
Thank you.
Great question, thank you. I will add to it, as a parent in the district who's had kids both in the programming through the school district and the programming through the city, a lot of times they dovetail very nicely. And it's really helpful for families to be able to plan their summer activities and know that their kids can be involved in both areas. And I really appreciate that you're continuing that, so thank you. I noticed that theater is on the summer youth camps. Again, I believe this is the second year for that now. So I'm very excited that that's also continuing this summer. I know that a lot of our theater students that we saw in Newsies, and then again in the play that went wrong, also participated in Triple Threat this last summer. So I'm glad to see that that's also continuing. I think that just continues to show that our hearts are in the arts. I just want to say thank you for the wonderful presentation and all of the pictures. I think that that's one of the most fun things that we get to see at some of these meetings are the pictures of the students and all of the wonderful activities that they do. So thank you very much for all of your diligence with that and for updating us with the information about those co-ops.
Yes, thank you.
Yep, thank you. Jessica.
Thank you for the presentation. I echo what Chair Granlund said about loving to see the pictures and the updates every term about that. I just wanted to add my own note about, I guess, communication or dovetailing of activities between the city and the schools that I've observed. I know that, for example, there's a lot of communication with like our childcare. So I know many adventurers will always go to the park to watch the city puppet wagon performances or things like that during the summer. And then additionally, I know that the city's theater programming for older kiddos, for like 8th grade through 12th graders, they actually do their Mill Street Players, they call it, here at the high school. So there is additional intersection of those things that I've observed. And then lastly, I do really appreciate the update on the non-host co-ops. I'm wondering if we could get that information or that slide in our packet, since that's not part of board book. You know, I know it's a ways out, but I know, speaking for myself, I'd be really interested to learn what you all learn about how other districts are structuring their non-host co-op agreements or the way that they do registration and fees for that. So even if that doesn't ultimately result in a recommendation for a policy change, that's something I would be just interested in understanding better. So thank you.
Nice work. Thank you.
Sure. Yeah, I can, thank you. I can definitely send that along to Stephanie.
All right, sounds good. Any other questions or comments? Okay, thank you. Don't go anywhere, though, because I believe now we've moved into action items, and we're going to get an update from you on the Minnesota State High School League membership resolution.
I believe you are correct. Chair Granlund, Superintendent Stenbeck, members of the board, thank you again for meeting with me tonight. Revisiting our mission, Columbia Heights Public Schools is creating worlds of opportunity for each and every learner. All belong and all succeed. Our core values, and I do believe this, that these are all represented in the Minnesota State High School League, as well as many of the things that we do, but these really do come out. And I think that's really what the Minnesota State High School League is all about, teaching. So I will present information on the Minnesota State High School League, and I'm asking you to take action on the resolution for membership this evening. Simply put, this is an annual thing that we do need to renew our membership every single year. The Minnesota State High School League provides guidance and governance for 29 of the sports and activities that we compete in at the high school level, and if we add girls hockey, then that would be 30. The Minnesota State High School League provides opportunities for 7th through 12th grade students to participate in education-based activities. And so that's a little bit different than something that you might get from a club or an AAU sport, et cetera, outside of the school environment. Education-based activities have a goal to win games and championships, of course, and that's a goal of every game that we play in. But winning is really not the purpose of that activity. The purpose is growth of students and connection to caring adults and communities. And that's stated in the mission statement of the Minnesota State High School League. I believe that our students greatly benefit from all of our activities and athletics that the Minnesota State High School League provide. And it is my recommendation that we continue as members in the Minnesota State High School League. So tonight I am asking the board to continue that membership and pass that resolution for membership. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Just a quick note, in board book, it did say that this was coming for as an action item on the 9th. We don't have school board that night. I do believe it's coming on the 16th. So we can expect that.
Chair Granlund, it's listed as an
I'm sorry,
action
it's
item.
action item tonight.
On tonight's agenda.
Yep,
so-
sorry, that was it, yep. Thank you.
Still wrong date.
It's still the wrong date,
Sorry
yes.
about that.
No worries.
So,
So yes, it's coming today. We're doing it now.
okay, thank you for the clarification.
Yep. All right. You know, I made it over an hour until I made a mistake in the agenda, so I'm really going to pat myself on the back for that.
You're good.
All right. So I'm going to go ahead and read the resolution for membership in the Minnesota State High School League. Resolved that the governing board or entity of Columbia Heights Public School District Number 13, located in the state of Minnesota, delegates the control, supervision, and regulation of interscholastic activities and athletics referred to in Minnesota Statute Section 128C.01 to the Minnesota State High School League, and so hereby certifies to the State Commissioner of Education as provided for by Minnesota statutes. Further resolved that the school listed is authorized by this, the governing board of said school district or school, to renew its membership in the Minnesota State High School League and to participate in the approved interscholastic activities and athletics sponsored by said league and its various subdivisions. Further resolved that this governing board or entity hereby adopts the Constitution, bylaws, policies, rules, and regulations of said league and all amendments thereto as the same as are published in the latest edition of the league's official handbook on file at the office of the school district or school, or as appears on the league's website as the minimum standards governing participation in said league-sponsored activities and athletics. Further, the administration and responsibility for determining student eligibility and for the supervision of such activities and athletics are assigned to the official representatives identified by this governing board or entity. Can I get a motion to accept the resolution?
So moved.
Thank you, Laura. Can I get a second?
Second.
Ooh, I'm gonna give it to Jenna. Second to Jenna.
I'm
All
gonna
right,
win.
discussion. Go ahead, Julie.
Yeah, I just want to point out that MSHSL does provide insurance. I mean, for, kids who have injuries and things like that that are covered in that 9th through 12th grade area. So, I mean, not only is it providing structure, but it's also providing a benefit. And I just wanted you guys to know that if you didn't know.
Thank you for that. I appreciate it. Laura?
And I'd also like to further point out that this is the only organization to actually have our students be able to compete in and be able to have these opportunities. There are no other ones. So,
Great point. Thank you.
good thing that they give us added benefit because this is the only game in town.
Yeah. Go ahead, Jessica.
Chair Greenland, I would propose an amendment in the second paragraph, inserting the word district after school, where it says further resolve that the school listed.
Oh,
Just for clarification, that all of our schools in the district are members.
yeah, and it does further clarify school district. It's just a friendly amendment. I'd like to second that.
All right, so we have a second.
So we'd move to discussion on the amendment.
Yep. Is there any discussion on the amendment? All right. Oh, go ahead, Superintendent Stenvick.
Director Henderson, can you clarify that the high school league does indeed cover 7th and 8th grade, or is it limited to 9th through 12th grade?
There we go. I was just turning on my mic again. It is 7th through 12th grade. Generally, it's listed as the high school that it would be. Right now, it's listed as Columbia Heights High School. Any of our sports that do play 7th through 12th, like lacrosse might be an example. And quite honestly, as I sit here, I think we have an 8th grader too on volleyball. So yes, it does cover the middle school some, but they're playing at the high school level.
Thank you for the clarification. The reason I ask is because when I sign off on things, it's typically to the high school, and I know that for districts with multiple high schools in their district, each high school receives like approval thing. So Do with that with you as you will.
I think, so what I'm understanding is that we only have one high school. Most of the students that are in 7th and 8th grade that are participating through Minnesota State High School League are actually participating with other high school students. And so,
It's a high school organization, but for Columbia Heights Public Schools, we have the one
One
high
high
school.
school.
So either way, I think would work.
So,
discussion, Jessica?
question then, so when it says that the school listed, where is the school listed?
That is correct.
Oh, that,
Go ahead, student.
I believe it's on a separate sheet that's would be on a second page that is not part of the resolution.
There's a formal signing official document from Minnesota State High School League. I'd like to.
I'm not trying to belabor the point, I just want to be very clear about what we're approving.
So, on the document that we sign, it is vote on behalf of the high school is it says Columbia Heights High School under name of school. So that is the only.
On the
school
actual
listed.
form.
On the actual form that
Okay.
we have to sign.
So when the resolution refers to the school listed, it's the school listed on that form
Yes,
and not the district as listed
correct.
in
Would you
the
like to
first
see this?
paragraph. No, that's,
I mean, I
that's
will.
fine. Okay. So that's helpful clarification.
No, yeah. No, I
So,
think-
yeah, I would withdraw my amendment
Okay.
with that
Awesome.
context.
Go ahead, Julie.
Just have a question, since we're looking at words. That the governing board or entity of Columbia Heights? What's the entity of Columbia Heights? Do we have an entity of Columbia Heights? Is there separate from the board that could approve?
Governing board applies to our district.
Yep.
Okay,
Yeah, it says or, so I mean, it could be, in a different district, it could be something different.
it could be, or
But we don't
an
have something
entity,
different.
but we don't have that.
Yep.
They're just including everything to cover their bases.
Yeah. Great conversation and great questions. And I think that those are super important.
What a journey.
What a what?
What a journey.
Any other roads we want to take?
It's been a roller coaster. All right. So that amendment has been withdrawn. Any other discussion on this resolution? All right, if there's no other discussion, Laura, would you please call a roll call vote as this is a resolution?
That way.
Aye.
Palmer, aye. Maderas?
Aye.
Fodnas Bondas?
Aye.
Poole?
Aye.
And Granlund.
Aye. All right, resolution carries. Thank you. I'm just going to keep this because I have to sign it later.
All right, thank you for your time.
Thank
Good
you
night.
so much for the presentation. Appreciate you, and go Highlanders.
I'm seeing the refs walk out, so I think that's not a good sign. I know. I'm hopeful. I'm gonna run back in there, but I think that's who I saw walk out. So.
Oh, boy. All
Have a
right.
good evening, all.
Thank you. All right. Next up, we have the principal contract with directors Bennett and Hennekins. Welcome.
That's what the presenter is like. Projector? Chair,
Just, if anybody picked that up, the staring into it was not like my eyes. It is the projector that is sitting in front of everybody
until I
right now.
sat down. Chair Granlund, members of the board, Superintendent Stenvick, at the May 12th meeting, we had discussion on the principal's contract negotiations for 2025, 2027. The association has approved the contract. The people that negotiate have signed off on it, so tonight we're here seeking approval of the 2025, 2027 principal's contract.
All right. Can I get a motion to accept the principal contract as presented in board book?
So moved.
Michelle, can I get a second?
Second.
Second by Julie. Discussion. Go ahead, Julie.
I just want to point out that our work session, we did discuss the contracts and look at and it was provided in our Friday packets, so we should be aware of what is in it. And I just think we had a very good discussion during that time. And this contract, I felt, and I know that others may have a different opinion, but I felt like it was pretty reasonable. So that's my point.
Thank you. I would just like to echo that. Yes, we had a very good conversation about it. I know the principal contract generally settles following the teachers' union contract, and that was a little bit longer. This only is coming to us now because of waiting for those things, those other pieces to come together. It sounds like it was a pretty great working conversation. There was not a lot of back and forth, and it seems like the principals appear to be very comfortable with this. Have they approved it themselves?
Yes, they signed in. It's ready for board signature.
Wonderful. Any other questions or comments? Jessica?
I would just note too that part of our review of all of these contracts is looking at sort of what is equitable across employee groups too, and so that's always something that we think about. And then just a question, I guess, for the understanding of folks who might be watching this. So when you talk about the association, that's the association of employees covered under the principal's contract, but this does not represent a collective bargaining agreement.
Correct. They're an association of principals and assistant principals.
Thank you for that.
Great question. Thank you. All right. Any other questions or comments? All right. If there aren't any, then we will move into a vote. All those who accept the principal contract as presented, say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you. Next up, we have designation of identified official with authority with Superintendent Stenvick.
Chair Granlund, members of the board, the Minnesota Department of Education requires that school districts annually designate an identified official with authority to comply with State Access Control Security Standard 1. That states that all user access rights to Minnesota state systems must be reviewed and recertified at least annually. The identified official with authority, or as we call it, Iowa, will assign job duties and authorize external users access to the MDE secure systems for our local education agency, Columbia Heights Public Schools. It is recommended that the board authorize myself, Zena Stenvick, to act as the Iowa for the 26-27 school year, and that Stephanie Alvarez act as the Iowa proxy to add and remove names only for Columbia Heights Public Schools.
All right. Thank you. As this is a resolution, I will go ahead and read it before we move on. So, designation of identified official with authority for the MDE External User Access Recertification System Resolution. Whereas the Minnesota Department of Education, MDE, requires that school districts annually designate an identified official with authority to comply with State Access Control Security Standard 1.0, which states that all user access rights to Minnesota state systems must be reviewed and recertified at least annually. The identified official with authority will assign job duties and authorize external users access to MDE secure systems for their local education agency, LEA. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the director recommends the board authorize Zena Stenvick to act as the identified official with authority, IOWA, or Iowa, and Stephanie Alvarez to act as the Iowa, to add and remove names only for the Columbia Heights Public School District 0013-01. Can I get a motion to accept?
So moved.
Thank you, Laura. I will second it for funsies. Discussion. Go ahead.
I just have a question. So the MDE servers and stuff, you're accessing, or you're assigning who can access it. It does mention external users you actually would assign to. Who are our external users that might be able to go into our data?
I can't think of any at this time. So perhaps some districts contract out if they don't have, a staff person on site or within their organization that would need to approve something for gifted and talented or something for the local literacy plan or things like that. So at this time, I can't think of any external user that I've approved.
Stephanie was raising her. Our external auditors?
Sounds like the auditors have access to it.
You must have given it to them. Yes. Okay, thank you.
Good question.
No, that was a great question. Any other questions or comments? All right. As this is a resolution, we will move into a roll call vote. Laura, if you would, call roll for us.
Bull?
Aye.
Bodnas?
Aye.
Medeiros?
Aye.
Palmer? Aye. Petway?
Aye.
And Granlund?
Aye. Motion passes. All right.
I couldn't remember which way I went.
You did a little bit of
Next,
I was trying to shake things up.
next up, we have board topics. Any board topics? All right. I just want to say tonight marks the beginning of Eid, so Eid Mubarak to our families who celebrate. It is a wonderful time to celebrate Eid, so want to just pass that along. And otherwise, really looking forward to the next few weeks of the end of this school year and all of the activities and things that are still coming up. So looking forward to that.
Graduation?
And graduation.
For our next meeting.
Yeah. Yeah, we will have the 2026 graduation happening before our next meeting. Yep. I'm kind of in denial about that, Laura. I'm not going to lie. All right. Any other board topics? All right. If there aren't any, I will adjourn this meeting at 7:23. I did it.
I will finally be able to greet my child on our graduation. So I'm super.